Hi everyone, Christina here. Welcome to day 5 of the holiday card series for 2019. Today's card features a technique that is super fun. It's been around for ages, and I'm not sure if I've ever shown it on my YouTube channel. I may have, but if I have, it was a long time ago. Now, this technique came to my mind when I was watching a live stream of my friend Jeff Lindbergh over at Instagram. I happened to be watching his live stream from an airplane. I was flying home this weekend from a race. I did a 10K at Walt Disney World. It was the Wine and Dine 10K, which was super fun. But anyway, I was flying home on the plane. I was watching his live stream, and I suggested in the comments, why don't you try the kissing technique, which is where you kiss 2 stamps together and the pattern of one stamp transfers to the other stamp. So it's a really fun technique. It's a little bit hard to describe, better to see it done like in person or in a video. So this is going to be the best way to help you, and also Jeff, know how to do the kissing technique. So let's get into it. So the solid images I'm using for the kissing technique are from Concord and 9th. This is the Merry Shapes stamp set. Has some really fun candy canes and Christmas trees, but I'm going to be using the letters and the ornament for the actual kissing part. And I'm also using the Christmas sweater background from Simus' stamp for the pattern with my kissing technique. Starting out with one of the solid circles, this is going to be the ornament, and I'm placing it on this white cardstock. This cardstock is cut to 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. Now I'll eventually trim this down to be square, but for now this is the size of cardstock I'm working with. And this is some Neenah Classic Crest Solar White cardstock also. So I'm using some Innocent Pink ink from Gina Designs. This is a pale pink ink, and when you're doing the kissing technique for the best results, you want to start using a lighter colored ink. So I'm going to be showing this to you 3 times, and each time I start with a lighter shade. So this pale pink is my solid color. Now I've got my background stamp. I'm going to put it in on the other side of my MISTI, making sure I ink up the area where it will be. And this is the cherry red ink from Gina Designs. So I'm going to ink up that area where that circle stamp kind of intersects that background pattern. And then I'm going to kiss these 2 stamps together, and that transfers the pattern to the solid stamp. And then, working fairly quickly so my ink doesn't dry, I put my paper back into my MISTI and stamp in the same spot once again. That transfers that darker red ink, the cherry red, over that pale pink, innocent pink color. So that's the kissing technique. And I'm going to show you with a blue shade now. This is Sea Glass ink. This is a nice pale blue ink. It's going to look great with a darker blue ink on top. So I'm stamping the letter J. This is going to spell out the word joy. And now I'm going to use some blue denim ink. I'm going to check to make sure where that's going to be on the stamp, and then just ink up that section of this background stamp. I'll then take the letter stamp and kiss it to the pattern, transferring the dark blue ink to that letter J. Then put my paper back into my MISTI, making sure it's tight into that corner, and then stamp down, and it transfers that pattern onto that area. I think this looks so cool, and I wish I had more solid stamps to do this technique with. I think it'd be really neat. I'm now using Key Lime ink from Gina, and I'm going to stamp the letter Y over to the side of that ornament shape. And then when it comes to the kissing pattern technique for this one, I'm going to be using fresh Asparagus ink, and this is a darker green ink. So I'll ink up that section of the background stamp that the Y will touch, and then I'll swing that Y stamp over and kiss the 2 stamps together to transfer that pattern. And then I'll put it down onto my card. So now I have those 3 images that I've used the kissing technique on. I think it looks so cool having that pattern right on top, and it's all flush with the white cardstock. For the ornament, I'm using the little ornament hanging piece from the stamp set, and I'm going to be using some Enchanted Gold ink from Alta Nu. This is their pigment ink. It's going to give it a nice gold shimmer on top of this ornament. So place that right there. And now I'm going to take some VersaFine ink and put a greeting right above. Now this greeting is from the same stamp set, and it just says wishing you, so it'll be wishing you joy. And then I'm going to take a very, very thin lined black marker, and I'm going to put some strings coming from the ornament and also the letters. Before I get to that, I did notice I had a little bit of ink that sort of smudged on my white cardstock, so I used a sand eraser from Tombow just to kind of sand away some of that ink. And then used a ruler and a .03 Copic multi-liner pen to draw those strings. I used the Basic Squares die set from Simon to cut out this whole area. I thought about having it be the entire card size or just the same dimensions, but my image with the word joy and the wishing you and the strings, it really just looked like it needed to be a square shape. So that's what I did. I ran that through my die cutting machine and it cut out my entire stamped area into the perfect square. I'm now working on the background to go behind that greeting, and I previously stamped the solid images for the peppermint candy and the candy cane. I did that in those same inks, so the pale pink ink, which was innocent pink, and then key lime ink for the circular candies. And then I took the other image from the stamp set for the peppermint candies, and I stamped that in fresh asparagus ink. I then took the candy cane image, the stripes, and inked that up with cherry red. So the reason I'm doing this with an acrylic block versus a MISTI like I did before is because I'm doing this background stamp really randomly. I wanted to rotate the images and have it mostly just be around the outer edge of this card. So I thought it would just be easier to go ahead and use an acrylic block for all of this stamping. So I did want to mention that my finished card size is 5 by 5. I picked that card size in particular because I have some pre-made envelopes that are that size. So I thought it would just be easier just to use some envelopes that I already have in my stash. And I also made the card base out of that same cardstock. This is some craft colored cardstock. This is Neenah Environmental Desert Storm cardstock. And I put adhesive on the back of my stamped piece and then put it directly onto the front of the card base. To finish off the card, I put some foam adhesive behind my Kissing Technique stamped piece. I just put a bunch of foam tape all along the back and then press that down onto the front of my card. I really love how this turned out. I think it's really colorful and pretty cute for a holiday card. Thank you so much for watching today's video. I really love how this turned out. It's got a very kind of retro, classic Christmas look to it. I think it looks really, really neat. Let me know down in the comments if you're going to try out this technique, if you're going to try a kissing technique. I think it's really fun. On screen, I've got 3 videos for you to check out. These are the 3 previous Day 5 videos for years past of the holiday card series. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that thumbs up so I know you like this video. And thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys on Wednesday for Day 6.